I fucked you fixed her PC.
Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the stream.
Fucking made it, woo!
Wow, right on time, holy shit! Yeah. I just got to the stream and, oh boy, my arms are tired!
From what?
Playing lots and lots of VR over the past week. I finally got, like, a decent headset, and my entire torso aches. Oh god, I can't play that opening! No! Put that away!
Are you playing VR with your torso?
Well, you
Do
see...
this to me.
You see, Noir, it's a full body experience, really. But enough about that.
Full body?
Now is the time. No, now is the time
Edge.
for a little bit of When They Cry.
Yeah.
Anyways, all game. Is it gonna do the thing, or do I have to fucking? I'm going to have to specify. Okay. Capture specific window. I do not want you to capture Elgato's sound capture. There we go.
You use Elgato?
Yeah, Elgato's the name of the brand of the sound capture device I use.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty then. Okay. Game on. Browser audio off. Etc. Etc. Okay then. Don't
Also-
you dare!
Sorry.
Not you. Not you. The game.
Don't make us tap the sign, Con.
What was the game doing?
Playing the opening that's gonna spoil everybody.
Wait, didn't you edit that?
No, I edited the original one because I wanted to play like the actual opening just once. But obviously there was still some spoilers in there. I'm not done. So I took I took certain scenes out and I spliced in the ones from like a different version of the opening that weren't spoilery. This one is literally just caked to the fucking brim with spoilers just from the Answers arc. So
Don't they show the ending?
This intro caked up.
yeah, like the only time that's safe for me to fucking play that one would be like the very, very end of the story.
I gave you that one alternate opening to open up with.
I guess I could make an alternate one, but that would require too much. Well, I guess I could just like swap it with a different
Use the
one.
one that you've been using.
Look, I'm terminally afraid of touching any of the fucking files in this game. Like, when I was making that alternate opening originally, there were a couple times where it was like, "Hey, motherfucker, what do you think you're doing? You can't open up the game!" But I fucking got it to work, thank God. So, well, you see, that's because this is a perfectly legal copy of the PlayStation 3 version of Umineko When They Cry. And that means that if you change any of the files, they're gonna kill you. That's why it always says, like, hey, your files are fucky, but it's okay, you can run the game, though.
Haha, game go fuck.
PlayStation 3 game.
You can go now, Con.
Sorry. I was going to go ahead and preface this by saying, to those watching and everybody here in the chat, please stay healthy because currently COVID, or at least the Backstreet Boys World Tour, is currently going around again.
Uh-huh.
This isn't YouTube.
Enough about... Well, this is gonna go on YouTube, is the problem.
Right. You might want to edit that.
Well, yeah.
Probably.
Anyways, hey, B, what's this episode sponsored by?
Sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Standing on One Leg.
So
What?
true. Alrighty then, now...
I love the sponsors.
In the Golden Land, the quiet rain just kept on falling. In the arbor sat the sad witch, whose eyes had lost their glint, and Battler. Virgilia could also be seen there. She sat next to Beato, knitting quietly. Lambda Delta's game had passed the climax of the first twilight, and they were taking a short break. Gazing out at the golden rose garden soaked with rain, Battler considered the present, which was what was to come, and what had happened so far. To Battler, the act of thinking was itself a battle. Even with the game stopped and Beato unable to speak, he could still keep on fighting. Virgilia suddenly stopped knitting. Battler noticed it too. Because, though none should have been able to visit this rose garden, she had noticed a silhouette approaching.
That's unusual. Not many people are capable of reaching this place.
It's her.
It's that dog.
That silhouette, which walked amidst the quietly falling rain without so much as an umbrella, was Delanor.
That was a spectacular garden maze. A splendid way to enjoy the roses.
Why are you here?
It's been some time, Mrs. Beatrice. No, wait. It is Mrs. Virgilia, is it not?
Long time no see, Delanor. Come over here. We aren't ones to leave a guest out in the rain. Do not worry. She hasn't come to fight.
Do you know her?
She's one of my old friends from heaven.
Good to know.
This really takes me back.
That it does. Mrs. Virgilia possesses a deep knowledge in heavenly studies. I have often argued with her over interpretations.
Hey, are you on the right microphone? It sounds like your laptop mic.
What the fuck? Hold up. Oh. Oh. That it?
Yep, there we go.
Oh. I've often argued with her over interpretations.
Wait, whoa, now it just sounds really muffled.
What the f-
Okay, now we're good. Now you just had to, you had to be loud enough really quickly.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry, my bad. Carry on.
Okay, go. It's your line, go.
Alright, okay.
You already said it.
I know, I said it twice. Do it right, okay. That it does. Mrs. Virgilia possesses a deep knowledge in heavenly studies. I have often argued with her over interpretations.
Ho ho ho! My many intellectual adventures with you were quite enjoyable. I'd like to do it again sometime.
Yes. Let's do it again sometime. I'd love to fight with you again.
They used the word fight, but it didn't sound like they meant anything unpleasant by it. It sounded like something old chess rivals would say to each other. Unlike Beato, it seems Virgilia always behaved properly and courteously. So she had many friends in various other worlds, including both heaven and the demon world. Surprisingly, Delanor was one of them. Delanor, who had crossed swords with me just a short while ago, ducked her head like someone taking shelter from a sudden rain and sat in the seat Virgilia pointed at, like a guest.
Is there any type of black tea you would prefer?
Anything. Any tea you make is superb.
Then how about some Darjeeling? Battler, Beato, would you like some more?
Yeah. Beato and I would like a refill. Right? As usual, Beato didn't answer. But if you quietly gave her a cup of tea, she would sip it from time to time. There was still some black tea left in that cup, but it had already chilled. So Battler asked for a refill, for Beato as well.
I had a question. When she does ... is it like, or is
It's
it
just
literally
kinda
no
like-
sound at all?
Essentially either silence or maybe like a muffled
Yeah.
I have heard the rumors. How pitiable that Beatrice, the endless witch famous for her cruelty, has been reduced to this.
She's no longer participating in the game. Lambda Delta is the one controlling the Beato that's on the Game Boy.
I know. However, she is the original, as I lose my voice, fuck. However, she is the original master of this world. And you are the proper guest invited by that master. That is why I have come to pay my respects.
On the game board, Beato and I met Delanor. Those were the game pieces of those witches. It weren't Beato and me ourselves.
Is that why you went out of your way to greet Battler Kun and Beato here? I see you're as conscientious as ever.
That is my way of doing things. Greetings, Mr. Battler. I am Delanor A. Knox. We play opposing roles, but it is a pleasure to meet you.
Sure. I'm Shermia Battler. Pleased to meet you.
Greetings, Miss Beatrice. I am Delanor A. Knox.
Beato. He's saying hi. He says welcome.
Thank you very much, Miss Beatrice.
The witch and the Inquisitor of Heresy, whose job is to hunt witches, greeted each other for around a tea table surrounded by the aroma of black tea. It was a strange sight. Virgilia made gold butterflies sprout from the palms of her hands and transformed them into a teapot and a can of leaves. It was a very witch-like way to make tea. Of course, she actually was a witch. That scene probably wasn't particularly bizarre in itself. Though I was a bit concerned about whether Delanor, an Inquisitor of Heresy, would watch such a spectacle.
Do not worry. I am not so boorish as to complain about how my tea is served.
Even though the tea is being made with magic?
There is a tea set hiding in the shadows, and Mrs. Virgilia is making us tea with it in secret. We interpret or judge that it was made with magic, and it is written as such in the tale. That interpretation is also allowed by Nox's Ninth.
Oh my. I do believe the interpretation of the Ninth is such a delicate problem that it's viewed as a taboo, even in the Great Court. Even though it's just a personal opinion, if it became known that the head Inquisitor of Heresy said such a thing, you might be sacked.
No matter what interpretation I record it with, there's no lies in the taste of your tea. Therefore, I do not worry about how it was prepared.
Aha! Well, she looked cold. She was a surprisingly tactful person. If Delanor were to deny that the black tea had been prepared with magic, this magic would have surely have been crushed in an instant. However, the possibility had been presented that a tea set existed and that had been used to make the tea normally. So the fact that Virgilia had made tea was, in the end, undisputed.
Magic that hides the result in darkness is evil. I will not permit it. However, magic that enshrouds the process is not necessarily evil. My foe is evil itself, not magic.
I see. The important thing is that you're being served some tea. So it was just common courtesy to avoid complaining about how it was made. That's right. Someone makes tea for you, it's common courtesy to be grateful. There's nothing elegant about pushing your way into the kitchen and criticizing how they brew it.
You don't invite your guests into the kitchen. And when you set the table, you should adorn it beautifully in the spirit of hospitality. Here you go. Careful. It's hot.
Thank you. I would like some sugar and milk.
Ooh. You still can't drink it straight?
I am a kid. It must be sweet.
So then, is magic a gentle lie?
The word lie makes it sound bad. The word embellishment is probably more fitting.
When giving a child candy, you can take a crumpled up one out of your pocket, or you can use some clever sleight of hand to take the candy out. The impression given by each method varies greatly.
Well, yeah, it'd look cooler if you took it out with a little magic trick.
Wrong. There is a meaning in the fact that the result, giving them candy, has been adorned to be even more beautiful and fun.
Think of when you give Maria-chan a candy. There's a huge difference between taking it out of your pocket to give to her and slipping it into her pocket and saying a fairy gave it to her for being such a good girl.
In my opinion, it would be boorish to then question everyone about their alibis and pinpoint who it was that slipped it into her pocket. The important thing is the result, that the girl received the candy and rejoiced. And it is significant that it was embellished in a way that made her rejoice.
That's surprising. When you showed up, I got the feeling you deny anything that went by the name of magic.
That is how I act in my capacity as an Inquisitor of Heresy. It is my job. However, when I'm away from my job, I don't enjoy being quite so cold-hearted.
So you set your personal feelings aside when on duty. Hey, you do it well.
As an Inquisitor of Heresy, hunting witches is my job. However, I personally find witches pitiable. Despite this, I carry out judgment mercilessly as an Inquisitor. In the end, that doesn't change the fact that I sentence witches to death. In the end, my pity is nothing more than a useless embellishment. Whether I have it or not, nothing changes. So it would be better if I didn't.
That's not true. Even if the ends are the same, what's in your heart makes a big difference. Your mother's cookies are clearly more delicious than those made by a good pastry shop. That's because you know they were made with heart.
Yeah, that's right. Even if the result looks the same, whether or not there's a warmth behind the feelings of whoever gave it, to you it makes a big difference.
Is that so? Whether I have a heart or not is completely meaningless.
Eleanor's gaze fell to her cup a little sadly. That's not true. After hearing all this, I've changed my view about you a little bit. My view of you a little bit. And that's why I'm certain that the heart isn't meaningless. Regalia was a little surprised to hear the word that she should have said coming from Battler's mouth. After all, understanding the heart is the first step towards finding the essence of magic. By now, perhaps Battler had unconsciously started to understand it, bit by bit. The essence of Beata, the essence of witches, and the very first essence of all, magic. Whether you want to become a witch or vanquish them, the very first step is learning about magic. Regalia was sure that she'd felt this faint change within Battler.
As for that last fight, thank you very much. I am grateful for the mercy you showed me at the very end.
That me wasn't me. The Delta was controlling him. I joined it on the 5th game partway through. I still anticipated at this point in time. So, until I do join in, the Peace Me is probably being controlled by Burncast or Lambda Delta. Just what kind of whim is guiding them? Trying to make it look all cool. They made me look like some kind of knight coming to save Beato.
Lady Lambda Delta wants both witches and humans to be in balance, resulting in a draw. With Erica's appearance, the scales tipped strongly in the favor of the human side. So she manipulated the tale in a way that supports Beato.
I am aware of that. However, pieces cannot do things that are impossible for them. And they specialize in actions appropriate to their original personality. Therefore, that was certainly something that that Battler, was capable of. That is why I am grateful to you.
It feels a bit weird to be praised when I didn't actually do anything. After the game continues a bit more, I'll probably regain control of my piece. After I'll be able to go easy on you then.
It is the same with me. The next time we cross swords, I won't hold back.
Bring it on. I'll be your opponent. Come at me with all you've got.
I promise. With everything I've got.
Eleanor. I thought she was an emotionless killer doll without a heart. Maybe she actually is pretty approachable. Though of course, neither of us will show any mercy when fighting on the game board. For a while we gazed at the rain-drenched rose garden as we quietly enjoyed our tea.
There is one thing I must apologize for.
With a sudden sigh, Eleanor muttered something. What is it? If it's about that fight a short while ago, it's already over. We both thought everything we had. The outcome was just the luck of the draw.
No, it wasn't luck of the draw. I couldn't just let it be, so I came here to apologize.
What are you talking about?
You're saying you threw the match, aren't you?
Regalia spoke softly, without hesitating in her knitting.
That is correct, Mr. Battler.
And Mr. is really awkward. Just Battler works fine.
Battler, I apologize. We did not give it everything we had.
I know. Kinzo is dead at the starting time for all games. Beato has already spoken that truth. In that battle, Battler-kun could have only achieved a draw, at best. He most certainly had no chance at all of winning.
You're right. You could just say that, the whole fight's already over. Why didn't you use that red? Don't tell me it was because of a stalemate or something like that.
Nox's second. It is forbidden for supernatural agencies to be employed as detective technique. We cannot use that red truth directly. However, I gave Cornelia, who was protecting the window, the red truth that the window was never opened after it started raining.
Boom. That's checkmate. Why didn't that girl use that trump card?
This is... Allow me to speak. There is no way to defeat my red. Know that your wish will not be granted.
Though she had fought calmly up to that point, she quickly got flustered when I dashed forwards. I thought she'd been frightened by my sudden attack, but the truth was different. Even though she held a trump card that couldn't completely repel me, so then became unable to use it and hesitated.
I don't understand. All of a sudden, in that instant, use of that trump card had become forbidden. Once we lost that, your victory was guaranteed.
The Game Master, Lady Lambda Delta, probably interfered.
That bastard. So in the end, the whole fight was a farce in the palm of Lambda Delta's hand. She made us play out the entire act according to her script.
I do not like it. However, since you told me to fight with everything I had no choice but to let you know. Please forgive me.
Still, even though you lost your trump card, you kept on fighting, all out with your remaining cards. I don't believe anyone could find fault with what you did.
That's right. On the contrary, you should be mad at Lambda Delta for butting in.
Enzo does not exist should already be an established fact. Lady Lambda Delta and Lady Birkenstell should know this very well. And yet, they are both leaving room for Kenzo to exist as they continue in this game. It's almost as though the two are conspiring to prevent Kenzo's existence from being denied.
In other words, they intentionally let Grandfather escape?
Yes. They must be after something.
That is a bit odd. Lady Lambda Delta and Lady Berncastel should always be in opposition, unless the witch side is in a superior position. It's hard to imagine that those two are conspiring together at a time like this.
I cannot help but think that they have some sort of wicked goal. I came here because I wanted to let you know that.
So, you came all the way here to tell us something like that?
Yes. Which means that my business here is finished. I think I will leave now. The game will probably resume shortly. I must aid Erica during the rest of this game.
Eleanor gulped down the last of her black tea and stood up.
Next is the battle of the second twilight. At that point, I will once again raise my merciless longsword. So I ask the same of you, Battler. show no mercy towards me.
I understand. If it went that easy on you, I'd have my own head smashed in.
On the game board, I am nothing more than Lady Birkenstall's piece and Ferudo Erica's subordinate. In the future, we will probably stand across from each other as opponents many times. However, my heart is always neutral. No, please forget that. Such has no meaning considering the relationship between the two of us.
It does. There's no doubt you're a fearsome opponent. But you don't piss me off anymore. But that Erica totally pisses me off.
Good. Ferudo Erica also pisses me off.
Delano's expression finally softened slightly. At the very last moment, felt as though we finally understood each other.
Ferudo Erica is a very evil entity. Hold up.
It would appear that Delanor is having some technical issues at the moment.
She's just a kid.
I like how everybody can just universally agree that Erica sucks. Yeah, she sucks dick and I'm working for her, for fuck's sake!
She didn't even give us dental.
Oh my god.
I'm just imagining being like that, or just like slamming the table. It's like, why you gotta work for her? And Eleanor's like, you think I'm happy about that?
She's lost faith with her recent defeat.
It's just that
and
picture of
running
that.
with desire for revenge.
It's just like that fucking dude in the banana suit thing where it's like, we're all trying to find the guy who did this! Oh my god. Also, Rindy, you've been having like that weird like internet artifacting a little bit.
What photo are you talking about, dude? In the banana
okay,
Which is
better.
a little bit.
It's gonna be okay.
Oh, hello?
You're still getting like the yeah.
Hi, B.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's better.
I like how I said Erica's evil and my internet yeeted me out of existence. Ferudo Erica is a very evil entity. She's lost face with her recent defeat and is burning with a desire for revenge. Even if I don't know what she's planning. However, it can't be anything good. Please take care.
Just knowing she's burned Castle's peace tells me I can't let my guard down. Delanor nodded as though satisfied, left the overhang of the arbor and walked it into the rain.
I think I'd serve as a subordinate to such evil. Why was I called to this world?
Delanor let out a small sigh. Pieces can do nothing except fulfill the function that they have been given. And that function is given to them by the one who controls them. She probably can't disobey her own player, Berncastle.
Lady Berncastel may be the one who called you here. However, the one who let you into this world is Beato. If this child didn't wish it, you would never have been able to make it through the garden maze and arrive here. Right, Beato?
Miss Beatrice, what is it that you want from me? I do hope that I can help you in some way, though I may be a subordinate of evil.
We spoke to Beata, but of course, there was no response. After bowing once more and thanks for the black tea, Eleanor disappeared off into the rainy rose garden. So no one can reach this golden land if Beata doesn't want them to.
Yes. This child is the one who called Delanor here.
So, Beato called her so I can meet with her. However, another person has reached this place despite Beato's wishes. It's Angie. In the last game, Angie reached this place by herself, even though she was an uninvited guest. Is that also something Beato wished for?
I am here. You are here. Beato is here. Delanor was invited here. All of these happened because this child wanted them to. Even the bit of time you and Delanor spent together drinking tea.
Beato. What was I supposed to learn from her? Has that something to do with finding your heart and letting you rest in peace? Delanor Enox, a natural enemy of witches, an inquisitor of heresy, a vanguard of mystery who denies fantasy. Is she here to help by gouging out your heart and choking the life out of you? Please stand on one leg. Cornelia slowly got up and stood on one leg, as she had been ordered. Her hands were clasped behind her back, because she had been ordered to do so. Then with a thump, Erica pushed her from behind with both hands. Cornelia landed on the floor, face first, with a thud. Please stand on one leg. Cornelia rose, shakily. Then, once again, she stood on one leg as she had been ordered. She had been ordered to not to hold her ground. She had fallen on her face over and over again. She had barely managed to protect her nose, but after smashing against the floor so many times, her face was bright red. She wasn't shedding any tears. No, she couldn't shed them, because she was forbidden to even do that. Please stand on one leg. Please stand on one leg. Erica repeated this falling torture over and over again. At times like this, Erica hated counting things. So she decided that when she ran out of fingers to count the number of times, she would just repeat it until she lost interest. However, Erica's main redeeming feature was that she never lost interest in anything. So the torture continued on and on. Erica didn't know why Cornelia had been unable to fully protect the window. The whole time since then, she had placed all the blame for their loss on her.
Please allow me to speak. Forgive Cornelia. She has already repented enough.
Oh, is that true? Then please, take her place from now on. Gertrude has done nothing wrong. Gertrude, please stand on one leg. Clasp your hands behind you.
Gertrude followed the order. and clasped her hands behind her back, standing on one leg.
You mustn't resist or hold your ground. You're not permitted to bend your knees. You're not permitted to shed any tears. Got it?
As you wish.
Gertrude.
Erica made a show of walking behind Gertrude. He'd enjoyed making her wonder when she'd push. At that time, Gertrude and Cornelia burst with a bright light and disappeared. Because Delanor, who must have returned at some point, had sent them back to the heavens for the time being. Erica, who'd had her fun spoiled, gave Delanor an openly malicious look.
Miss Erica, I will bear the punishment for all of my subordinates' faults as their superior. I ask that you let them go.
No, thank you. Punishment only works because it causes pain. There's nothing interesting about an unfeeling doll girl that I can't leave a single injury on.
Erica slowly grabbed hold of the back of Delanor's hair, tugging unrelentingly. Delanor's neck tilted upwards, creaking.
You may not cause physical injury, but you do injure.
It is as if you had a heart that could get injured. You lowly witch-hunting murder doll. Are you trying to talk back to me? Me, the envoy and double of the great Lady Burncastle?
No.
I got scolded by Lady Burncastle because you guys are useless! Never fail so lamely again! Understand?
The hair she had grabbed was stretched back as far as it would go, along with more creaking. This didn't cause Delanor any physical pain, but she could clearly feel Erica's ill will.
My apologies. Forgive me.
Filth.
The sound like a bowstring being cut, several of Delanor's hairs were pulled out. Then Erica waved her hands about as though trying to brush off something dirty that had gotten stuck to it.
Well, that's okay. I'm done. My anger's finally settled down and my little gray cells are tingling again. Please call those two useless people back and reconstruct the crime scene. Let's start the reasoning game.
Understood. Gertrude, Cornelia.
As you
As you wish.
The two of them reappeared before Delanor and reconstructed the crime scene for Erica, the one who had just been tormenting them.
Kinza's disappearance was nothing more than a bonus round after the first Twilight. Let's start investigating the first Twilight itself. Before we do that, did you realize we were actually given a riddle before the murders even occurred?
Yes. The letters with the mark of the one-winged eagle which appeared at midnight, appeared at 12 o'clock last night, along with a knock by some person.
That's right. The tales created the illusion that the events of that instant would be impossible for any human, making it seem like an unknown witch exists. Let's start by crushing this illusion of the witch. We'll first check the situation in the dining hall last night when the letter was delivered.
Understood. Gertrude, Cornelia. Reconstruct last night's family conference in the dining hall.
As you wish.
As you wish.
You'll get it someday. Family conference last night was held with the adult relatives in Battler. And partway through, the servants had arrived to serve tea.
Let's check everyone's locations at the instant the letter had arrived. How did that go again?
Please allow me to speak. Before the family conference, Erica, George, Jessica, Maria, Nanjo, Goda, and Kumasawa left the mansion and moved to the guest house.
Please allow me to speak. Of those who remain, only Kraus, Natsu, and Genji were in the second floor corridor, and all others were in the dining hall.
Because the family conference was proceeding and the mansion was completely locked, all other humans were unable to enter the mansion.
Aha! That mean there was no one inside the mansion who could have knocked and placed the letter there, right?
Yes. The witch side will probably claim that the one who did this was the witch who wrote the letters, Beatrice.
Ridiculous. A stupid trick. There's no guarantee that the letter was placed there at exactly midnight. It's only sensible to consider that it might have been placed there earlier.
Just a few minutes before the letter was discovered, Shannon and Cannon came in to serve tea. When they entered, multiple witnesses confirmed that there was nothing suspicious like a letter in the hallway.
Most likely one of those not in the dining hall, Kraus, Natsuki, or Genji, simply saw their chance right after that and placed the letter there. No, wait, it should be possible for the people who supposedly went to the guest house, too. We've heard that the mansion was locked and that no one outside could get in. Though someone only pretended to go to the guest house and instead hid inside the mansion, it's perfectly possible that they could have placed the letter there.
Allow me to speak. Bluetooth valid.
In that case, the problem is the knock. Unlike the letter, someone would have to exist there at the instance of a knock.
I see. This is the so-called proof that a person who shouldn't be there, a witch, existed? This is just so ridiculous. To think that I, Furuto Erika, would surrender something like that. Firstly, I question whether the knock was even something hitting the door to the dining hall at all. For example, the mansion's construction may be such that when a certain pillar of the second floor is struck, the noise is transmitted down the pillar, and it sounds just like a knock on the door to people in the dining hall. Or they could have misheard some other random sound as a knock and misconstrued it in a similar way. Or tape with the sound of a knock recorded on it could have been secretly playing, which had been carefully set up to be heard at the exact same time. Exactly that time. Either way, I can think of many ways to make them hear a knock, even if no one was on the other side of the door. How is that, my master? How is my reasoning?
That's what she says. So what do you think?
Well, it looks like your cute piece gave it are all thinking up these blue truths. So I guess I'll be nice and give you a few reds. I guess I'll start with the letter. We both have the knock. This is Lambda Delta, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have both the knock made when the bell of the large clock rang out at midnight, and the letter sitting there in an envelope bearing the one-winged eagle crest when the door was opened. It's so obvious to suspect that the people who weren't in the parlor secretly placed the letter there, right? Ross, Natsu, and Genji did not even touch that letter.
Oh-ho. Well, when Cannon and Cannon came to serve tea, who was the last human to enter the dining hall? Let's say it was Cannon. Wouldn't it be easy if Cannon, the last person in, secretly got the letter there when he closed the door?
Not a single person in the dining hall. No, there's a simpler way to say it. Among all those inside the mansion at midnight, not a single one of them placed that letter in the hallway.
So, you can't say that no one touched it?
Obviously. They touched it when they picked it up. Of course I couldn't say that none of them touched it.
I see. Then let's interpret it this way. someone who existed outside of the mansion at midnight placed the letter somewhere other than the hallway beforehand. Then, it moved by some means and ended up placed in the hallway.
Just as an example, let's say it was deliberately stuck into the underside of the serving cart carrying the G-set, which the servants wheeled into the room. It was simply affixed there in a way that would make it come unstuck after a certain amount of time, such that when it eventually fell off, it would become the letter left by a witch who shouldn't exist. In other words, this is a classic trick where the true sender gives themselves an alibi of making the letter appear at a different time.
Allow me to speak. Bluetooth valid.
In other words, the fact that it landed on just outside the dining hall was just the culprit's good luck. At worst, it might have happened in the kitchen, the corridor, or even inside the dining hall. Oh, good! If it had happened inside the dining hall, that would have been even more wonderful. With everyone's sight, a letter would certainly appear on the floor, and that wouldn't even violate the red truth saying that no one in the closed room of the dining hall touched the letter unexpectedly.
Well done. If the letter was stuck to the bottom of the serving cart, then anyone could be the culprit. That might work okay regarding the letter. However, will the same type of argument apply to the knock as well? Let's try this again, shall we?
Please, go ahead.
Neither Cross, nor Natsuhi, nor Genji knocked. This isn't the limited meaning of them knocking on the door, okay? It means they didn't use a pillar to transmit the sound or push the play button on a cassette tape they recorded or created that knock sound by any means. Of course, this includes all direct, indirect, intentional, coincidental, and unintentional means.
This wedge has already been knocked in, but I'll repeat it. Maybe someone other than Kraus, Natsuki, or Genji made that knock. Or else a sound that could be misidentified as a knock.
Please allow me to speak. At midnight, except for Kraus, Natsu, and Genji in the second floor corridor, and all the people in the dining hall, no other humans existed inside the mansion.
Please allow me to speak. In addition to Kraus, Natsuhi, and Genji, none of those in the dining hall knocked. Their knocking includes all direct, indirect, intentional, unintentional, and coincidental events that could create a knocking sound.
A direct knock refers to someone literally hitting a door and making a sound. Would this be me? Oh, whatever. An intentional knock refers to someone creating a fake knocking sound with intent to make it appear that someone knocked. An unintentional knock refers to someone unintentionally creating a fake knocking sound. A coincidental knock refers to some kind of coincidence creating a fake knocking sound.
In other words, it is impossible for anyone who was in the mansion to have been the source of a knocking sound. In this case, anyone also includes any people who might have gone undetected or unobserved.
Anyone who was in the mansion also includes any unknown person X who was secretly hiding in the mansion. Therefore, this literally meant that it was impossible for anyone inside the mansion to knock, with no wordplay allowed.
I see. No matter how much I toy with it, it's impossible for anyone except those in the guest house group to create the knocking sound, right? Like me, for example. What if I, Fruto Erica, recorded a knocking sound on a cassette tape, secretly installed it somewhere and set it up so that it would start playing at exactly midnight? Of course, I wasn't in the mansion at midnight. There aren't any problems with this, are there?
No problems. However, though the knock did serve as a way of informing them about the letter on the other side of the door, I do not think it would have worked if the letter had fallen elsewhere.
The trick in Erica's theory about the letter being stuck to the servant cart was accurate. And the location of that the letter fell was a matter of luck. Because it had fortunately fallen near the door, the people in the dining hall noticed it due to the knock. However, if the location it fell was a matter of chance, it might have landed in the far-off kitchen, or remained stuck even after they entered. If that had happened, the knock would have been ignored as though they'd just imagined it. In other words, the knock by itself wouldn't transmit any message at all. It only made it appear as though someone had been there, because it was paired with the letter. In that case, the random location the letter fell to off the bottom of the serving cart couldn't be connected with the knock. For the letter to be found thanks to the knock, it would have been reliably positioned on the other side of the door. However, it was announced in red that no one in the mansion placed the letter in the hallway.
I'll reword that read about placing it in the corridor a bit. No one in the mansion placed that letter in the hallway. That goes for every conceivable possibility, directly, indirectly, intentionally, coincidentally, and unintentionally. For example, let's assume that there was a device on the serving cart that dropped the letter when it stops moving. In this case, you'd think that they would predict that the cart would have probably stopped just once when those two knocked on the door to the dining hall. And by doing so, they'd be cleverly making it so that the letter drops right in front of the door. But even this doesn't work, okay? The action of stopping the serving cart would indirectly lead to placing the letter in the hallway. That would mean that Shannon and Cannon, who were pushing the cart, had indirectly and unintentionally placed that letter there. So even this is no good. Furthermore, setting it up so that the letter peeled off with the passage of time would mean that the people pushing the servant cart had coincidentally and unintentionally placed that letter there. Of course, this is also no good.
Repeat it. At 2400, only Erica, George, Jessica, Maria, Nanjo, Goda, and Kumasawa existed outside the mansion.
What if someone in the dining hall didn't exist in the mansion right at midnight? For example, what if they had slept out a window just before? With this wordplay, it might be possible to get around the truth.
Repeat it. Even though I'm nice enough to give you all this red for free, aren't you being a bit greedy? I'm not an idiot like Beato, so I won't go around saying everything my opponent tells me to repeat.
I'll give you a full-body massage in the back with marshmallows and competo sometime soon. Enough to rub your skin off.
Now you gotta keep that promise. Okay then, here's a freebie. I'll respond. At midnight, only Erica, George, Jessica, Maria, Nanjo, Goda, and Kumasawa existed outside the mansion.
In other words, no matter how much they struggled, those 8 people, including Erica, could not have existed inside the mansion, much less in front of the door. At the same time, no matter how much they struggled, those inside the mansion could not have existed outside the mansion.
In that case, the letter might have been stuck to the ceiling of the hallway instead of the serving cart. The ceiling of the hallway is surprisingly high, so even if you just stuck it there out in the open, maybe no one would notice it. This way it would certainly fall in the corridor, and you can't slip by the red if someone outside the mansion did this. Good job, me.
Please allow me to speak. The letter never existed on the ceiling of the hallway.
Please allow me to speak. Now that the letter never touched the serving cart.
Who cares about that? Anyway, some human outside the mansion used some kind of trick to place the letter there. If you try to use that letter and the knock to argue that Beatrice exists, it definitely won't work on Furuto Erica.
Please allow me to speak. It was impossible for anyone outside the mansion to influence anything inside the mansion after the start of the family conference.
Then someone outside the mansion set up some kind of device before the family conference! Something other than the ceiling of the serving cart!
Allow me to speak. Bluetooth invalid.
Why? That's the only way, right? Someone outside the mansion used some kind of device other than the ceiling or the serving cart!
Allow me to speak. Unless you can specify or theorize as to what that something might be, your Bluetooth will not be acknowledged.
Allow me to speak. All of Lady Erica's Bluetooths regarding the letter have been lost.
They've all been lost, you say? Watch your tongues a bit more, useless furniture! If I can just think of that device, it's an instant checkmate! What do you mean, all of them? What do you mean my Bluetooth is invalid? How dare you say such a thing to me, Detective Frudo Erica?
Erica's face twisted. Those words that seemed to deny Erica. No, Erica's reasoning were the worst form of torture and humiliation for her.
Miss Erica, why don't we postpone the riddle of the letter for now? Your blue stake about someone outside the mansion playing it with a cassette tape is still valid. If it were possible for sound, then perhaps it wasn't impossible for the letter as well.
As Erica made to grab and pull Gertrude's hair, Delanor stopped her with those words.
That's right. My Bluetooth regarding the knock is still valid. It's not true that everything's been denied. My master, I will solve the riddle of the letter without fail. Please allow me to postpone it for now. However, I will definitely figure out the riddle of the knock here. I hit you with the blue stake that someone outside the mansion set things up with a cassette tape or something to make a knock sound play.
You really are a cute kid, piece of Burns. Very lively. Anyway, Erica's yelling that you'll forgive her because she solved one of the two riddles, even though she resigned on the other. So, will you forgive her?
Sure. Normally, I'd never forgive my own peace for the shame of surrendering. But if you've managed to solve one of the riddles, I guess I'll let it slide for now.
My master!
When Bergcastle said that she let it slide, Erica couldn't hide her relief.
Then it's time to get punished, Erica John. None of the characters would misidentify a knocking sound.
Oh. What's that supposed to mean?
Misidentifying a knocking sound means this. They would not mistake a sound very similar to a knocking sound for a real knocking sound. Hitting a pillar to make something similar to a knocking sound is no good. When you record a knocking sound on a tape cassette and play it back, it becomes the sound of a tape with a knocking sound on it and not a knocking sound. So that's no good either. In other words, all of them would correctly distinguish a knocking sound from something truly hitting the door. And they wouldn't mishear it. It's totally impossible that any sounds except for hitting that door directly would be misinterpreted as a knock.
What the... that means... At the time the bell sounding, midnight went off. None of us who could have hit the door.
Yep, they don't exist. After all, the Golden Witch Beatrice hit it.
So, in other words, there's no way to make it work unless you actually hit the door. So what about this? There was some kind of device that could knock on the door. There was something like an automatic door knocker, and that made it possible for someone to knock without touching the door with their hands.
To knock means someone hitting the door with their hand. I won't accept it hitting it with some device. They heard a knock at the same time as the midnight bell. At that time, everyone inside the dining hall definitely heard it. And none of them would misinterpret a knocking sound. Cross, Natsui, and Genji had no involvement in any knocking. No one else existed inside the mansion. And the knock refers to the action of standing directly in front of a door and hitting it with a hand. Hey, Burn. What do you think of my red? Don't you think this is pretty simple and enjoyable despite being before the first twilight? The Golden Witch made her graceful appearance with a knocking sound.
Interesting. This really is riveting, Lambda. Wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, how amusing.
The two witches doubled over laughing, as though this was the most fun thing in the world.
My master, don't worry. If you just give my little gray cell some time, I will definitely reach an answer to this pitiful red.
Is that so? Thank you. And I'm disappointed, Erica. You bored me, Erica. As my piece in double, the fact that nothing is so pathetic it's comical. If you don't know the answer, then be silent forever, please. And please, open your mouth only when you know the answer. You are nothing but a lowly piece. Your absence wouldn't hinder my progress in this game in the slightest. If you can't think of any theories in particular, please just go back to the peace tray and gather dust or something. Useless pieces are painful even to remember.
After all, Burnt's pretty forgetful. If you don't try a little harder, Burnt's gonna forget you, okay? You'll collect dust in that forgotten peace tray, awaiting your turn that'll never come. I imagine that'd be pretty harsh, don't you think?
Don't worry, little Delta and my master. I promise that I'll keep you entertained and never let you down again.
Oh, how reassuring. I guess you're my double after all. Then make sure we really are giving it your all, in more ways than one. If you don't make an impact, I might forget all about you.
As the two witches giggled, they continued discussing the letter and the knock. There was no room for Erica to step in. If she contended herself with that, she would literally have no place to go and be buried in an eternal oblivion. Erica endured this with a hideous expression, looking with shame at the back of the master who ignored her. And with both fists clenched, she thought frantically in search of some kind of breakthrough.
I am the detective. I am Furudo Erica. I am the piece and double of the servant of the great Lady Burncastle. I'll definitely make her satisfied. Satisfied. Definitely. Assuring me a battler. How dare you humiliate me so!
As she stood there, ignored by the witches and shrouded in darkness, it looked like someone had told her to go stand all alone in the hallway. With the crime in the early morning, we'd completely forgotten about breakfast. So now we had our first meal of the day at a time that could never be called breakfast time. Even Goto-san's wonderful meal, which had supposedly been in the works since yesterday, provided no comfort. The several empty seats quietly burdened us with a pain-filled sadness. Then in the middle of this meal that felt like a vigil, Erica suddenly stood up. Everyone focused on her to see what was the matter. Her expression was somewhere between relief and insanity, as though she'd made some groundbreaking and strange discovery.
Hey, what's up? You okay?
I've got it! I've got it! Did you think I wouldn't understand? Yes, I've got it! There's no way something this stupid could happen!
With a hideous expression covered in cold sweat, Erica gazed and lashed out at Battler. What did you get?
There's no way you jumped down from the third floor study! Not one of us saw you fall down and land in the courtyard! When you stepped the ladder from the courtyard and saw Rudolph-san go up into the third-story window, you closely observed the structure of the outer wall and realized that by cleverly using the rain gutters and other handholds, it would be possible to descend from the courtyard from the third-floor window! You didn't jump down! Use the rain gutters and so on and clambered down the outer wall like a loser! What do you think of my blue truth? Come on! What's your counter-argument?
My counter-argument?
You don't have a counter-argument? Then my truth is valid, right? Hey, did you see that? It may have looked like you jumped down all dramatically, but it was all an illusion! All you actually did was jump out and grab desperately into the rain gutter!
My argument that then was about whether it was possible for Grandfather to escape from the study, right? And it was possible for Grandfather to escape through the window. All I did was prove that. Whether I jump down or crawl down, that doesn't change anything, does it?
Don't try to change the subject! A mere human can't jump down from the third floor! Did you see that? Did you see that? What do you think of my reasoning, my master?
Are you tired or something? Just calm down and eat some food. When he escaped through the courtyard through the window, Rattler really did use the rain gutter to crawl down the wall, just like Erica said. His hand had slipped halfway and he'd fallen from a considerable height, but he had managed to land on his feet. No one had witnessed this, but most likely everyone in the dining hall now, except Erica, had realized that something like this had happened. Since the very beginning, no one had believed that he had jumped down from the third-floor window, even if they hadn't witnessed that directly. So they had no clue what Erica was complaining about all of a sudden. Started to whisper, staring at her with cold eyes and dubious faces.
You can't counter that, can you? You jumping down has already been denied! My truth has won! My blue truth is valid! My master, please acknowledge this! I am not incompetent or disappointment! I will match up to your expectations without fail! So please don't abandon me, my master!
Facing someone that might not have been somewhere beyond that ceiling, Erica spread her arms and yelled. Then, as if in answer, a massive lightning bolt landed very close by. It was an incredible sound. They could even feel the earth shake. At the same time as that sound, Erica went limp and fell into her seat, like a puppet who'd just had all its strings cut. Then, as the sound of wind and rain slowly filled the room once again, Erica slowly opened her eyes as though recovering from a bout of dizziness. Then she continued eating in silence, as though nothing had happened, as if she'd been acting normally the whole time. Didn't Erica just stand up suddenly and yell something strange at someone? Automatically, enough to make one doubt their eyes, Erica continued eating quietly, as though everything was perfectly normal. When they saw how ordinary she looked, everyone convinced themselves that they were totally worn out. Must have just seen some illusion of Erica suddenly yelling. So Erica's sudden transfiguration of a few seconds ago was treated as a daydream, and faded out of everyone's memories. Erica quietly poked at her salad and muttered in a voice no one could hear.
Thank you very much, great Lady Burncastle. I am Fruito Erica. I am a master's piece and her double. I will most certainly present you with an incredible tale. That's right, when it comes to utensils, knives and forks are pretty primitive. Chopsticks are the best! Don't you think chopsticks are the easiest ways to eat salad? Well, everyone?
Is that
Wow,
the
she got
chapter for
pathetic
tonight?
really quickly.
Wait, what? Huh?
I'm still trying
it's
to
only
write down the
11:03.
red
We got like an
blues.
hour left.
These motherfuckers are writing down paragraphs.
Sorry.
Wait,
That's
what's going
fine.
on?
Wait, Con, you're not a character within the story.
Unintentional, coincidental, or incident?
Oh, fuck me.
Alright, hold on, let me just fucking take a sip. My voice was dying trying to switch
Yeah,
between
sure.
Randa and Dylan.
I had to switch between it fucking groveling, crying, and screaming, and Battler going, what?
Ooh, that's a fun thing.
You get some water too, Orange. That was intense.
Oh, yeah. What? Two characters I'll always go in on are Erica and Rosa if I'm ever given the chance to voice them. I mean, I guess also Battler too, but I mean, I don't get to be a funny gremlin.
Battler.
And because I don't have any roles, I get to be the court reporter in the trial full of fucking English majors.
AC's fighting for his fucking life.
Yo, AC, the funny thing is, that's 100% accurate, man. Oh my god.
Oh man. But yeah. For those of you who don't know, AC has been tasked with writing all of the relevant red and blue truths, which is basically all of them. So he's just in the notes typing out every single one.
Also,
I would copy and paste from the wiki, but sometimes I have to type it out because the wiki's translation is different from the one we're using.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Shouldn't it be the same? Oh.
Which is why, if you look at the Red Truths and Umi notes, there's military time instead of, like, midnight.
Alrighty then. Okay.
Got corners somewhere.
Okay. Oh god, I'm gonna fucking stretch.
Wait, you memorize
Anyway,
military
even
time?
America is military.
I was tensing up way too much during that scene. Like I was actually like shaking with anger.
Good shit, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as an English major who has been in multiple lit classes, I can confirm people spewing theories and cross arguments like this is a lot like this. All the
These
fucking time.
motherfuckers be writing essays on how they banged each other's moms last night.
You see, Battler-san, unfortunately, your mother.
Jesus Christ.
You joke.
That's a compelling argument, Battler-san, but IP address 192.6.
You joke, but there was one guy who
I
wrote
can
a
imagine.
story about
So,
banging the professor.
Wait, what's up, Brindy? You
Umineko.
were saying something?
I can post it now, right?
I can barely hear you, but I'm assuming you mean let's start it back up again. In which case, yes.
Thank you.
I asked if I can post it and I think
Oh yeah, there you go. Cool, you're good.
Battler-san returned to the guest house at 3 a.m. And the rest of you split up around 30 minutes later, right?
Sorry,
Speechless,
one
Ava-san?
Yes, that's right. Drowsiness was finally starting to catch up to us. We decided to take a short rest and then start up again.
To smoke out the murderer of the first Twilight, Erica closely questioned everyone involved to check their alibis and evidence. To confirm these, she went around the mansion with them, and when needed, took several trips out to the guest house through all the rain. Her vitality was impressive. Though she was an uninvited guest, everyone had long since stopped feeling anything strange about the way she played the detective. Josh, you have lines. Stop playing Left 4 Dead.
I'm not playing Left 4 Dead, I'm editing.
I wanna be able-
It seems Erica also steadily building up her foundation.
Beatrice, you were needed on some... There we go.
Whether alibis exist or not, she can't deny our existence. Kinzo escaped through the window and is now one with the mists of Rokenjima. She most certainly won't be able to capture or deny him.
When all said and done, perhaps you could say he's escaped to the underside of the chessboard.
In that case, maybe it would be appropriate to say he's been stowed away.
Come to think of it about those corpses from the first twilight. They've been stowed away too, right?
Yes. They've been put away in the darkness, which lies beyond this world and the next.
And that Detective Wannabe won't be able to find them?
Of course she won't. It'd definitely be impossible for a human. Wanna check?
Just in case. Also, we need to re-examine what Lady Burncastell's goals will be from now on.
If you know your enemy, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles.
If you know the truth, you can win 100 battles without fighting.
Bye.
Gap opened a large hole in the sky and had swallowed up all of them. She invited Beato and Ronove to the gap between worlds where she had hidden the corpses. That place was nowhere in this world. Existed in no time of this world. In other words, it truly and literally was a place not of this world. In this place, questions such as, where is this, and what time is it, have no meaning. Every single place led to here, but no place could be reached from here. Furthermore, all times connected to this place, but no time could be passed from here. Passed to from here. In short, this place is just what they said it was. The underside of the chessboard. Now, perhaps it would be most appropriate to call this a captured pile, where pieces had that had left the game go. It's also where all the bad games that AC gets go to as well.
Yeah.
Then, through the pitch black world, a glow like a faint spotlight shone and 5 corpses came into view. Blood.png. Aww. The 5 pitiful corpses with their necks sliced open had been arranged neatly. Their eyelids were shut and their hands joined. Apparently even Gap had respect for the dead.
Oh my. There are 5 sacrifices for the first twilight in this game. Not 6?
Oh, it's you, teacher. I was worried about where you'd gone. The game has already reached the first twilight, and as you see, the first victims have appeared. So, it's finally time. I'm getting all excited.
I see. The you that is here looks to be in high spirits. I'm pleased.
Hmm? I've got high spirits and a captivating body. Add in my charming disposition, and you've got my only strong points.
For some reason, Virgilia praised Beato for being in high spirits. Though Beato was taken aback at such a granny-like words coming out of Virgilia's mouth all of a sudden. She pounded her chest and answered. Virgilia had been absent often during this game. She might even have been absent when Battler solved the epitaph, as well as during the uproar that followed. Apparently she's been absent for so many critical points, that she didn't really understand much about what had happened so far in this game. Right now, 5 corpses have appeared. As you can see, their necks have been slit. George, Jessica, Maria, Rosa, Genji. All 5 of them have had their necks slashed open by something sharp. Their wounds opened wider than their mouths, made it feel as though they'd no longer need their mouths to breathe.
I see. So anyone looking at George, Jessica, Maria, Rosa, or Genji's corpses could confirm at a glance that they are dead.
Red. Well, there's no point in me holding out against you. And that's right. At a glance, anyone could confirm that these corpses are dead, so it is absolutely impossible that they are people just plain dead.
Why did Leah use the red?
Who knows? However, she is always thinking of what's best for Milady. She probably has some idea in mind that will benefit her.
But they'd hid the corpses here, specifically so that none would be able to use the red. However, Renove was right. Virgilia always thought of Beatrice first. A slightly displeased expression rose to Gap's face as she saw that the corpses she'd gone to such lengths to hide had now been confirmed dead in red. However, in the end, she remembered that she was only a guest and shrugged.
Why did you have Gap hide the corpses?
As to that, since the epitaph has already been solved, this game of mine is different from usual. I now have serving and protecting Natsuhi as my goal.
How would concealing their corpses protect Natsuhi?
We've more or less figured out what our opponent's moves will be. This is probably a trap meant to corner Natsuhi. Most likely they'll sort through alibis for the first Twilight and find them for everyone except her.
Last night, Natsuhi-sama was the first to leave the family conference, and then the rested alone in our room. Unfortunately, she has no alibi whatsoever until the next morning.
We've already made Kinzo's existence impossible to deny. However, there is a single move remaining to our enemy that might cancel that out.
I see. So they'll corner Natsuhi and make her confess that Kinzo doesn't exist.
Indeed. The enemy is probably after something like that. By watching the movements of the pieces involved with the family conference, we quickly realized that Natsuhi was isolated. Notice that trap of theirs encountered with this move.
The corpses disappear! Everyone has alibis and no one exists who could have moved them. Not only does this support the claim that a witch exists, it also throws doubt on whether they were actually corpses in the first place, just barely allowing Natsuhi to escape from being a suspect.
Fucking goddammit. What happened to my screen? Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Okay.
Everything good?
Yes, for some reason Discord is fucking with me and the screen is hidden. Okay, I'm back. In other words, it's possible for Natsuhi-sama to claim that the sacrifices of the first Twilight were only playing dead.
You mean even though many people confirmed their deaths without fail in the cousin room?
Mere confirmation of facts doesn't even approach the red truth. No matter how much everyone claims to have truly witnessed their deaths, the red truth doesn't exist in the human world. Because the corpses don't exist. Natsuhi can discount their words as a mistake, some sort of trick, or she can say they were all lying. And it's impossible for her to do this over and over to buy time for herself.
In the human world, which lacks the red truth, perpetual check is a valid move.
And in this argument with both sides denying the other's claims. No, not pretty.
True. However, beauty is something to be sought after only after victory. When those without victory seek it, It is not but poison.
Well, they do say might makes right.
Even if I don't think it's beautiful, those Voyager witches will probably like it and say it isn't boring.
I see. I've managed to grasp the flow of this game. I imagine it will get quite nasty.
We're fully aware of that. And we already know that Nazi is probably about to be lured into yet another trap.
A trap?
Indeed. Someone leading on the Delta's creator, who calls himself a man from 19 years ago, has already threatened Natsuki. She was ordered to go into a closet in a certain guest room in a few minutes at 1 p.m. and hide there. Kraus was taken hostage, so Natsuki can't resist.
I see. How relentless. Can you protect her?
Of course. After all, Natsuki isn't the culprit. No matter how much she's treated as the culprit, both the truth and phantoms are on our side. There's no way we'll lose.
God, I miss doing that.
Natsuki threw a cup of tea to the ground in protest, expressing the anger that flowed through her entire body.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying you suspect me?
You told me you left before anyone else, returned to your room, and didn't leave that room until morning. However, if you cannot prove that, it doesn't count as an alibi.
Proof? How could I possibly do that?
It doesn't matter how. Objectively speaking, it'll all be fine so long as you prove it was impossible for you to commit the crime. Everyone else is cooperating. I want you to stop being so hostile and give me your alibi, along with proof.
That's right. Almost the whole night is a blank space in time for Natsuki-san. She might have left the conference saying she wanted to rest before us, then gone to the guest house and attacked George and the others.
Please don't be such a fool. Why would I kill George Kuhn and adopt it with my own daughter, Jessica?
B, your wife is here.
But B might not be here.
But B might not be her wife.
Ah! Fuck. Hello. Calm down. We're all equally suspicious. It's sad, but we all have to prove our innocence.
Yeah. We've been thinking frantically about how to prove our alibis for last night, so that we could clear up the suspicion against us.
Oh sure, I've seen my innocence.
Point to talk, huh? Hey, talk.
Yes. Out of curiosity, does Hideyoshi have like the least lines of all the parents?
I know you can't can't blah blah blah. I know you can't like being suspected, Natsui-san. If it frustrates you, then shouldn't your first priority be searching for something to prove your own innocence?
The relatives spoke as though they were all under equal suspicion. But the mood about the place didn't feel so peaceful. Erica was still in the middle of confirming all of the facts. But except for Natsuhi, who was uncooperative when it came to providing alibis, everyone else had an alibi that was reasonably credible. Only Natsuhi, who claimed that even being suspected was an insult, was uncooperative with Erika, and her position began to grow more and more perilous. And honestly, do you blame her? The parlor was no longer a place of comfort for Natsuhi, and the sound of the cup smashing had made that decisive.
That's ridiculous. Why must I be suspected when I've lost a daughter? You're maliciously trying to make me look like a culprit just because I went to bed early last night. I cannot stand this humiliation any farther.
Oh, so what are you going to do about it? Show us some kind of alibi that proves your innocence. As if you could. Give me George back, murderer!
Stop it, Ava! That's my son, you're probably a bit tired too. Same goes for us, of course. Why don't we take it easy for now?
Seriously. We're a little too high-strung.
Natsuhi, where are you going?
Searching for alibis of the culprit would be truly laughable at this point. When the typhoon passes and the police come, everything will be exposed to the light of day. There's no reason whatsoever for us to play at being detectives.
What?
Am I wrong, Erika-san?
Generally speaking, you're right. However, I do have the authority to do this.
Who gave her that authority? No one asked. It was an authority given by words of power from a higher world. So the pieces weren't even allowed to doubt it.
I'm leaving. I have no intention of going along with your pointless questioning before the police come. If you suspect me, feel free to do so. I'm counting on the police to clear away that suspicion.
It may be a bit late to mention this, but then again, I guess this happens every time anyway. As usual, the phone couldn't connect to the police. Natsu said that the police wouldn't be coming, but that wasn't exactly true. Strictly speaking, the boat would come tomorrow, and they would use the radio on the boat to contact the police. Well, it's not like I'll let everyone live that long anyway. Oh wait, that wasn't even me. Shit. Whatever. That was just Lambda doing her man from 19 years ago voice.
No, Sirius. That's not the Nanjo voice. No, Sirius, son. It's dangerous to go alone.
Take this.
I was not going to make that joke, but perhaps it would have been better if we all stayed here.
Thanks, old man. That's some really good advice.
That's not one joke.
He says take this, gives her the gun.
Why not let her? This might make for some very good proof. If Natsuki Mason gets killed in her own room, that'll be excellent proof of her innocence.
Quit it, Aniki. It's probably best if we all get a bit of rest. Our bodies won't last until tomorrow.
Kyrie!
I'll get in there.
If we're gonna take a break, then we mustn't let our guards down. Got it? We might not make it through the night, much less tomorrow.
Natsuhi. Return to your room, make sure you lock it tight. Close the windows and shutters too. And stay safe. I don't want to suspect anyone, and more than that, I don't want there to be any more victims.
Thank you, Butler-kun. Then I return to my room. Goda, you're in charge now.
Oh boy!
Shut up, Goda. I know this is a horrible situation, but see to it that our guests have everything they need.
Yes, madam. I shall do so. With everyone watching her, Natsuhi left the parlor. From their faces, she could tell that they were expecting the classic mystery pattern. That the first person to quarrel and leave the circle would become the next victim. Natsui couldn't disobey because of the threat against Kraus, who had been taken hostage. Very soon would be the promised time, 1 p.m. She was to hide for an hour in the closet of a specific guest room. She suspected that the bizarre order was a trap to select her as the next sacrifice. She thought of various ways to resist, but all the methods would be useless against the culprit, who had a hostage and was observing her from close by. So Natsui could do nothing but obediently follow that order, and then claimed that she'd been forced to do this for her husband's safety. When the promised time had drawn near, Natsui had intentionally acted annoyed and smashed the cup on the ground to give her an excuse for slipping out of the parlor. At any rate, no matter how cowardly a trap it may be,
I cannot disobey now.
Seamless transitions.
I am the one who carries the burden of the one-winged eagle. Now if my husband Kraus has been captured, I must protect it even if I have to crawl through the mud. Of course I'm prepared to do so. I am Shirumi and Natsuhi. Even if I'm not permitted to pet a one-winged eagle on my clothes, Father gave me the permission to bear it in my heart. I've managed to get this far by plausibly dashing away in rage. So far, everything has gone well. Before my eyes was the doorknob of the specified guest room. However, I wonder if it's locked. The servants are normally ordered to lock any unused rooms. What will I do if it's locked? I dashed away from the others, pretending I was returning to my room. Popping back and asking a servant to unlock this guest room would be obviously suspicious. If I can, I'd like to get this eerie hide-and-seek over with without anyone noticing. A phone call from the one who claimed to be the man from 19 years ago. He said I would win if no one found out, but lose if anyone did find out. He said that my husband would be released whether I won or lost. But as the person with the hostage taken against me, I'd rather not lose. I don't like it at all, but I have to go along with this game. When I softly gripped the doorknob, I could feel that it was unlocked. Did Chana and Kumasawa forget to lock it after cleaning? Or did that man unlock it in advance? That man couldn't be waiting for me in this room, could he? And then, well... I think that's you?
I think it's you.
All that about hide and seek might have been a mere excuse. I kept the fact I was coming here secret and all the others think I'm messing in my room. If I were to be killed in this situation, it might create a new baffling murder case, like an extension of the one that occurred this morning. That might actually turn out for the better. Perhaps this is a good chance to confront the culprit directly.
Natsui had some experience with using a Naginata, though only casually.
Naginata.
Whatever. Unlike Ava, she couldn't brag about being able to hold off any single ruffian indefinitely. As she was now, she had no realistic chance of challenging a man with miraculous intent and winning.
Miraculous intent. Malicious intent.
despite
It was
the set
actually what it said.
it's been
Oh, malicious intent. I don't know.
Did it right.
Ah,
Can't pronounce English and Japanese. Damn.
I'd like to believe that any intent that Natsui has is quite miraculous.
Oh no, Orange got infected by Joshi tongue.
Oh no!
Wow.
That's he unleashes her Nagi
I
Chan.
feel like you could visualize that in a
Josh's
different way. Damn.
A lot of ways, including food.
it could just be we got infected by crazy talk.
Look, there's nothing wrong with having Joshy's tongue in your mouth. Let's go.
I wonder what Natsu's thinking.
What? Let's see what words Natsui is tonguing out of her mouth.
I didn't hear that. What did she say?
She just said, "Hmm."
No, I mean,
She righted herself and slowly opened the door. So she couldn't just stand around in the corridor and risk being seen by someone. The atmosphere inside the guest room was frigid. And she could sense no trace of anyone waiting impatiently for her. All she could hear were the unsettling sounds of the wind and rain. At first, this seemed to prove that there was no one here to threaten her. But soon it made an uneasy feeling rise up inside her even more strongly than before. The closet was just off to the side of anyone entering the room. Lined up inside was a set of hangers for coats. This closet, which had nothing hanging in it, was large enough for even an adult to hide in. So she softly opened the chest. Of course, there was nothing inside. She would have to hide quietly in here for an hour. The room had a wooden floor, but something like a carpet had been laid in the closet. It seemed sitting down wouldn't be a problem. She had been sure that someone would be waiting for her in this room. Or that a strange letter would be lying in the closet. In the worst case, she had even imagined that her husband's corpse might be inside there. However, none of these things she imagined turned out to be true. The only thing there was a cold guest room, and a lifeless closet that silently urged her to enter.
And he told me to hide in here for an hour. He's mocking me.
Natsui shrugged, turned around, and then locked and chained the guest room door.
That way no one will be able to get into this room. In other words, no one will be able to find me for the next hour. I win. What a stupid game of hide and seek.
This surely must be a total victory in the hide-and-seek game against the Mystery Man. However, it was such an easy victory that it made her feel uneasy. Normally, this would be against the rules of hide-and-seek. Even if she had one, wouldn't that displease the culprit? And now everyone thought that she had returned to her room. Found a room with a chain set that would make it impossible for a closed room to... It'd make it an impossible closed room to them. Erica had dashed out the mansion to confirm alibis or something. Just that the chain was set in this room, there would probably be an uproar that would end in them cutting the chain and searching the room. If that happened, Natsui would be found hiding in the closet right away. It would be easy to honestly confess as to why she'd been hiding. However, that man had insisted that she not reveal that. If she did talk, she might endanger her husband. Thinking of it that way, setting the chain, no. Even the lock might be a bad idea.
That's right. This room was unlocked when I came here. If I were to suddenly become long, it's conceivable that it might catch someone's attention. It's better if I don't do anything unnecessary. That man only told me to hide. So in the end, I have no choice but to do what he says. I hate doing it, but I cannot disobey. I undid those two precious locks. Went into the dimly lit closet, filled with the smell of old wood, and managed to close the door from the inside. pitch black. It reminded me of when I was young, when I used to hide somewhere and then surprise my mother. But that peaceful recollection wasn't enough to kill off my anxiety. It really is pitch black. From here I won't even be able to check my watch to see if an hour had passed. I'll probably need to open a door a crack every once in a while to let in enough light from my watch. For now, I'll crouch down here. I thought about clutching my knees, but it hurt my back when I tried. I'm not as young as I used to be. Even though I was made to sit on the floor holding my knees in every PE class as a grade schooler. And now I have to struggle just to sit down. Just crouching down here for an hour will probably hurt a lot. I can't believe I'll be hiding in the darkness for a full hour with nothing to hear except the wind and rain.
Ironically, Natsui had made Jessica do the exact same thing in the past. She'd done it when Jessica was a little girl. Scolded her for her persistent bad habits and teach her a lesson. She thought that making Jessica stay put in the darkness would spread a desire to reflect on her mistakes. And that, this way, she would understand what she had done wrong.
It almost feels like I'm being made to do the same thing. If that's the true purpose of this hide and seek. How naive of me. This must be my naivete. The hope that if the goal is to make me repent, nothing will happen here during this hour. Uncertainty and fear of that man's shadow are not what I need right now. Will someone suddenly come to this room, open this closet, and do something horrible to me now that I've come here in total secrecy as promised? That's what I should be worrying about. The culprit, or one of his accomplices, is very close by. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to observe me so thoroughly. I don't want to think it, but it's highly likely that the culprit bought off one of the servants. The culprit hid an eerie card with autumn written on it in my room. My personal room is always locked. The trick wouldn't have been possible without a key. Instead of believing that they obtained the key when the servants weren't looking, it's much more realistic to assume that one of the servants lent the culprit a hand. But how did they know that autumn is my favorite season? How unsettling. The thought that this mystery man might be peeking into my heart sent goosebumps running across my whole body. It's true that I like autumn, but I've never said it out loud. I don't think anyone's ever heard me say it. If I ask even my husband what my favorite season is, he would probably be stumped for an answer. No. Just once I told it to a single person. That's right. Shannon. On an autumn day long ago, I happened to be in a good mood. And I mentioned that autumn was my favorite of the 4 seasons. So the culprit, or one of their culprits, has to be Shannon. The fact that I like autumn can only be known by Shannon. In that case, this is clear proof that Shannon is involved. That card with autumn on it is proof. Outrageous. even though she served the family for 10 years. I trembled and shook with rage. Didn't kids once say that anger is the fastest sedative to cure fear and uncertainty? It's easy to tell the most fearful humans from within a crowd. They're always the first to get angry. I remember him telling me that. So I realized that his anger was a sign I was actually frightened. And I tried my best to remain calm. However, this is a vital clue for turning things around. Shannon may not be reliable as a servant, but if she's an accomplice used by that mystery man, this might actually be convenient. A weak-willed girl. If I threaten her, she'll probably spill the name of the mastermind in an instant. I'll secretly tell the police about this. It might become a big clue toward arresting the culprit. That card was probably meant to shock me and get me to do what he says. But he's actually dug his own grave. I never told anyone except Shannon that I like Autumn. This is unshakable proof that she's working with the culprit. Though I once thought this time in the closet would crush me with uncertainty and uneasiness, it's actually given me the start of a counterattack. If I wasn't given this time in the darkness, I probably wouldn't have noticed this. I'm almost grateful to the culprit for making up this foolish game. My mood brightened. I still can guarantee that my husband is safe, but I'll definitely get him back and force the culprit to face judgment. I clenched my fists tightly, and further strengthened my resolve to avoid losing this fight at any cost. At that time, I heard a sudden sound of someone trying to force the locked door open. And my heart leapt.
Should we say who this is? I don't really think it matters that much.
I mean, do we know who voices it, then?
I know who voices him, yes.
Well, then they voice him.
Of course we do, yes.
Oh, well then yeah, Bone, you voice him. That's Hideyoshi.
Well, oh. Man, okay, fuck me.
Go.
Oh, it's unlocked!
The voice was Hideyoshi's.
Wasn't it?
So, I would like to ask, in the voice acted, audio, it would have revealed it anyway, wouldn't it have?
I think? I have no idea.
I'm not.
Yeah, so just
the line might not be voiced. I'm not super sure.
I wonder what Nazi he heard.
The voice was Hideyoshi's. I heard that quiet voice as though he was talking to himself, coming from what was probably the hallway. Apparently, he had thought it was locked and tried to unlock it. But it ended up locking the unlocked door instead. Once again was the sound of the lock turning, and now the door opened with a faint sound. Why is Hideyoshi-san in this room? Footsteps that sounded like he came in, and there was a sound of him closing and locking the door behind him. Then came what seemed to be the sound of him setting the chain. Don't tell me Hideyoshi-san is the mastermind? Or as an accomplice? Is he planning to do something to me in this room? It would take some time to unlock the door from this side, much less remove the chain. If Hideyoshi-san doesn't intend to let me escape from here, he won't give me enough time to undo the chain. In that case, if he opens the closet door and sees me crouching here pathetically, just what kind of fearsome words will he say? don't want to be found. I don't want to be found. I beg you, pass right on by to close the door. Please keep going to the center of the room. My head was so filled with throbbing sound that it felt like it was about to explode, and I almost missed hearing his noisy footsteps. So when I heard a clunking sound coming from the center of the room, I finally realized he'd passed by the closet, and was deeply relieved.
Just in case. In this weather, it's pretty much night out there anyway.
As he whispered, he did something that made a clunking sound. He was probably closing the shutters on the windows. Just in case? In case I try to escape out the window? No, that can't be it. That's right. When I left the parlor, everyone was talking about possibly taking a break. After all, several murders have occurred. And the weather's bad. There'd be nothing abnormal if someone chose to rest in a guest room here instead of returning to the guest house. In that case, locking up and closing the shutters to grant his safety is a proper course of action to take. When he finished closing the shutters, there was a thunk, as though it flopped over on the bed. It was surprising how much of the situation could be grasped just by the sound. What's going on here? Did the man from 19 years ago plan all this out to put him in the same room as Hideyoshi-san? No, that probably isn't true. He probably planned on me hiding here. But Hideyoshi-san coming to take a rest here must have been outside the scope of his plan. Thinking about it that way, having him in the room might be odd. But it also might guarantee my own safety. Unlike his wife, Hideyoshi-san is the kind of person I can talk to. If Ava-san comes, things would probably get complicated. Maybe I should slip out of this closet now while he's still alone. Reveal everything to just him and ask for help. But if I do that, my husband might be killed. Until my husband is released, I shouldn't do anything rash. Should I go out and talk or hide in here? Moaning from my headache and biting my lower lip, I resisted the urge to crawl out of here. Even if I talk with Hideyoshi-san, I don't know where my husband is being held. I'm sure the traitor who's observing me is nearby. Just talking to him won't solve everything. I suspect that Chan is a traitor, but there's no proof that Koda and the others aren't. It's all useless. I guess living here and confessing is too dangerous after all. Eventually I heard a strange, sobbing voice. Whose voice was it? I strained my ears trying to hear that strange voice, and was shocked to discover that it was Hideyoshi weeping. Hideyoshi, who had lost his only son, was finally able to shed tears and cry now that he was all alone like this. Thinking that he needed to support Eva in her distress, he acted as though he alone was standing firm. However, he has as good a right to cry as anyone. And now that he'd found a place where no one can see his tears, he finally let himself do it. And lost my daughter. I haven't seen her corpse with my own eyes, so it still doesn't really feel like she's dead. What if the one who carried her off was the culprit? And he had some repulsive motive for doing it. Just thinking about it makes me feel as though my chest will tear itself apart. The reason I'm hiding in here now is that I'm thinking more about my still living husband than my dead daughter. But if I were given a chance, I'd be wailing at the top of my lungs still. However, I still cannot let myself do that. It isn't because the man from 19 years ago told me to hide. It's because I'm the final head of the Yoshiramiya family. It's been completely overshadowed by the recent uproar. But last night Buttercoon found the hidden gold and even gained the head's ring from that mysterious envelope. At the very, very end, when it's all over, I probably won't be able to prevent his ascension as the head. And when everything regarding the distribution of the inheritance is revealed, the Yoshiramiya family honor and glory passed down from father will plummet to the earth. So, I am the final head. Buttercoon will probably inherit the remaining wealth of the Yoshiramiya family. However, it is his history and honor will end with my generation. Therefore, I am the final head. I must not cry. Not yet. Until I get my husband back and avenge my daughter, I will not be allowed to shed tears. In the closet, I silently hung my head as I listened to Hideyoshi-san's sobs.
Who are you?
Huh? My heart leapt. I heard a sound that must have been Hideyoshi-san, who had probably been lying prostrate on the bed, bounding to his feet. Did he notice me?
How'd you get in here? What's this? That? Wait a second.
He was clearly in a struggle with someone. Who on earth could it be? No, it doesn't matter who it is. It's probably the culprit, and they're probably trying to take Hideyoshi-san's life. Shouldn't I jump out of here and help him? If I can't help him, shouldn't I call for help? No, but if I do something like that, I'll be questioned about why I was hiding here. However, if Hideyoshi-san gets killed like this... No, now isn't the time to be saying that. It is where he'll certainly be killed. I'll jump out of here and help him right now. But if I do that, even if I can't save Hideyoshi-san, I might be abandoning my husband's life. Hideyoshi-san's life and my husband's life. How sinful would it be to try and weigh those against each other? At that time, there was a loud sound as the door opened and the chain was pulled tight. Someone was trying to open the door despite the chain being set.
Dear, it's me. Could you open up? Dear? What? What's happening? Dear? Open up! Open up! Open up, dear!
She opened and closed the door over and over again with all her might, but of course she couldn't stand the chain. Evelyn called for help in a loud voice and raced through the hallway. By this time, the room had settled back into silence, and the earlier sense of Hideyoshi being in a noisy struggle had disappeared completely. What's going on here? So right now I'm in the same room as the murderer who killed Hideyoshi-san? In that case, the culprit should try to escape from the room as soon as possible, so why are they hiding in here? I haven't heard anything. Nothing that might have been the culprit who attacked Hideyoshi-san rushing away. No matter how much I strain my ears, I can't sense anyone in the room. In fact, it's so sudden it makes what happened just a second ago feel like an illusion. In other words, does this mean that the culprit is hiding his breath? Standing just outside this closet. Waiting for me to stumble out? I don't even know what I should be scared of anymore. If only I could just melt away into the darkness of this closet. I mustn't remain in this room any longer. I get to think I have more to worry about than just my personal safety. But what should I do? I don't even know if it's a good idea to leave this closet. Eventually, the clamor of many rushing footsteps approached. I'll hold my breath again and melt away into the darkness of the closet. Is this...
Ava dashed back, bringing everyone with her. Goda was gripping some wire cutters to cut the chain with. Trying to open the door again and confirming that the chain was still set, she yelled through the crack in the door.
Dear! We're going to open this up! Cut it right now!
Yes! Goda stuck the large wire cutter, which looked like it could slice off the whole finger, through the crack of the door, and easily sever the chain.
Dear!
As soon as it was severed, Ava pushed Goda aside and dashed in. The others tried to follow her, but they bumped into Ava, who had fallen to her knees, moaning. Though they couldn't tell much of what was going on inside the room, they could tell by Ava's moans that they were too late.
What the hell?
Dear? Dear! Dr. Nanjo! Look at my husband, quickly!
I'll do it right now!
You gotta be kidding me! It's been around 10 minutes since Uncle Hideyoshi went out saying you wanted to rest. B.
We got Kyrie on set. Oh.
Your wife is here. You have to pick her up from the convenience station at the grocery store.
B, are you awake? Oh no, that was a different person I'm meeting.
I think I've been asleep for half of this.
Nope, I just keep forgetting Kyrie has lines. Is there anyone in the bathroom?
No! There's no one here!
Oh, Shelly.
Hey, Mr. Asleep for half of this, you're up.
Okay. What could have happened? Ah!
Dear! Dear!
I am afraid to say that there's nothing I can do.
Nanjo stood up, hanging his head sadly. It was only natural. Because anyone, even if they weren't a doctor, would think at a glance. Hideyoshi was lying face down on the bed, and stuck deep into his back was something like a blade with an intricate demonic design on it. When Ava pulled it out with all of her might, they could tell it wasn't a blade, but some kind of stake, and its sharp tip had penetrated nearly 15 centimeters in. It probably dug deep into the lungs. If it had been stuck in any harder, the tip might have even pierced all the way through the surface of his chest.
Didn't I tell you to wait for me? Why did you go on alone? Stupid. Stupid. Stupid.
The culprit probably waited for us to get careless and split up.
That bastard! So he still hasn't had enough blood!
So he really is hiding somewhere in this mansion? And coming after us?
But there's something strange here. The doors and the windows to this room are completely sealed.
That's right. The shutters are all shut, and the door chain was set until a second ago.
Sleepo, you're needed on set.
Don't call me Sleepo. I'm not accepting that nickname.
We are doing it now.
No, we are not
You see,
then.
Mr. Sweepy Weepy. Mm-hmm.
Shut up!
Come on, I feel like a lot of us have, like, at times fallen asleep during some of these.
A lot of us, he says.
A good chunk.
Okay, so... But that's crazy. Pineapple. In that case... I should have said cranberries. I fucked that up.
What? Go.
Khan gets it. In that case, how did the culprit attack Hideyoshi-san in this room?
Maybe they threw this stake through the crack in the door!
Hideyoshi-san's bed is in a total blind spot from this crack. You couldn't even kill him with a gun. This really is strange. It's a closed room murder.
A closed room murder.
It's a bit too early to be sure about that. Maybe you removed the ceiling in the bathroom and escaped into the space above it. Maybe you can close the shutters from the outside.
The shutters? They didn't budge an inch from the outside. I just went and checked.
Erica. It's no wonder everything felt so quiet and relaxed. At some point, Erica had split from the group. Just now, she finally arrived and poked her face in from the hallway. When she heard that a crime had occurred in this room, she had watched everyone rush toward the room, but circled around the outer wall herself. And she had gone all by herself to check that the shutters were down on the window. That you couldn't do anything with it from the outside, and that there was nothing out of the ordinary.
Is the middle of the room just like usual?
I need to say it like that.
My deepest condolences. So, what's the situation inside the room?
The chain was set on the door, so we cut it and entered.
No.
And all the windows have the shutters down. And they're locked tight from the inside.
What are they bickering about in there?
Ava was arguing with Nanja about something. Apparently she wanted to carry the corpse to the parlor. Nanja tried to calm her, saying that they should leave the crime scene as untouched as possible until the police came.
What happened to the other corpses? The culprit carried them off somewhere, right? It may be that the culprit isn't satisfied with just killing, but intends to do something with the corpses. So no way. Ugh. No way we're leaving my husband all alone here.
Ava does have a point. After all the victims before now have all been carried away after we were shown their terrible wounds.
Erica-chan, you'd probably like to preserve the crime scene, but could you just let this one slide?
Do whatever you want. All I'm interested in is the fact that the closed-room murder has appeared that's much more serious than Kinzo-san's study. I have no interest in corpses, so do as you please.
Atler's expression was clearly unhappy, but she ignored him completely.
Feel free to carry that corpse at any time. Or am I in the way?
Erica backed away from the doorway and to open a path. She showed no trace of any sadness for the dead. Her eyes simply blazed with thoughts of this closed-room murder that had appeared. In any event, the great detective had given her permission. Ava and some others wrapped Hideyoshi up in the sheets, and Goda and Rudolph carried him out. The sheets were quickly stained red. It was so pitiful to see that Shannon and Kumasawa stripped the blankets off the bed to further cover the corpse. Hey, out of the way.
Yes, I am out of the way.
Let's go to the parlor.
Yes!
Dear.
Listen up, everyone. From now on, we'll always move as a group. Must not let yourself be isolated.
When the culprit attacked Genji, he probably got a master key. It's good that even locking up will no longer make you safe.
Sally?
Chelsworth.
Yes. Okay, Chelsworth is kind of cool. I like that one.
Chelsworth?
Whatever you say, Mr. Sweepy Weepy Pants.
Fuck you!
I wonder what Kumasawa's thinking.
Come on, I'm doing a bit, man.
Cranberries.
Damn it, don't encourage him to do Game Grumps things to Orange in retaliation.
Okay, now let's keep it going.
Okay. But even the death was sad. How did they do it?
It's impossible. The shutters in the chain were firmly set. Even with the master key, it'd be impossible to force your way into the room.
Yeah,
have been
I gotta keep
Huh.
this window open. All right. It must have been Beatrice-sama's doing. Oh.
Wait, do you have the window minimized?
Oh, I usually do other stuff and just listen.
You should probably have it up in case you have rolls upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true.
There's no way Beatrice Sama did this. The epitaph has been solved, so there shouldn't be any more reason to hold the ceremony.
Of course we can't understand it. This would be impossible for anyone except a witch.
Impossible for anybody except a witch, you say? Good. Has a nice ring to it.
Erica-chan, are you listening? We decided to stick together from now on. First, we're carrying Hideyoshi-san's corpse to the parlor. Can you hold off on playing detective until we get there?
When she heard the words, playing detective, Erica grimaced visibly. But everyone stumbled out and she took a single step into the now empty guest room. Looked around and burned that scene into her eyes. Erica claimed to have a photogenic memory.
That
is true.
She has a very clean
photogenic
brain.
fields.
I said photogenic. Photograph. Fuck.
Photographic.
Photogenic means you photograph very well.
Photogenetic field.
Yeah, she's photogenic. She's very clean in her brain. Her grays are very clean.
Her little gray cells do be tingling. Anyways.
She scrubs them regularly.
Photographic memories. If that was true, those few seconds were more than enough for her. Later on, she could sip black tea in the parlor while perusing the photograph of the scene inside her memory. Playing the part of an armchair detective. Then suddenly her eyes stopped on the closet off to the side. A closet for hanging overcoats. If it was large enough to fit a coat on a hanger, a person should be able to hide in it. Slowly, Erica stretched her hand out toward the closet. Erica's shoulder was grabbed roughly from behind. Let's go, Mrs. Detective. You ever learn how to stick together on school field trips?
Well, whenever I go traveling, somebody always dies.
Bruh.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, brats? Come quick. Lee.
Rudolph told them to her.
Hurry.
After clicking her tongue and glaring at the closet, Erica followed Battler back to the parlor for the time being. Sound of their footsteps. Oh yeah, that's you. That's you. Go ahead. Go. Go.
The sound of the footsteps finally faded. The time of terror when I feared that even the dripping of the cold sweat covering my cheeks might be noticed had finally ended.
Con, you were tapping your hands. I can hear that, fortunately.
Sorry.
Okay.
With my hand it's still
Wow.
I slowly opened the closet door and dashed into the hallway. It's okay. No one's found me. Still, it's a good thing they didn't lock the door. If they had, I wouldn't be able to lock it behind me after I left, and they'd find that suspicious. Anyway, I should leave this place. Then I'll return to my room and pretend that I was sleeping the whole time. Yes, if I don't get back soon. A new murder has occurred. They'll probably try to tell me about it. And they'll probably do it shortly after they carry Hideyoshi-san's corpse back to the parlor. I can get around a phone call by saying that I was asleep and ain't notice. But if they come knocking directly, that'll be bad. I have to get back quickly before they try to force the way in. I don't know whether I should run all out noisily, hide my footsteps and walk in secret, or walk around normally as though nothing has happened. At the very least, it'll be bad if I bump into them on the way back to the parlor. Anyway, I'll head to my room at a quick pace without being noticed by anyone. I pass through the hallway to the lobby. If I go up the big staircase in the lobby, my room is just a little bit.
Natsui-san.
Just as she was about to go up the large staircase, Natsui hears Erika call out to her, and was so surprised that she visibly jumped.
I was just about to go and tell you the news.
Thank you very much. Did something happen?
Just now, Natsuhi-san. You were climbing the stairs, right? Your room is upstairs, isn't it?
Erika coldly pointed out this strange fact. Natsui cursed her bad luck.
I couldn't sleep, so I was going to return to the parlor. But I wasn't sure whether I had locked my door or not, so I was about to head back. I'm a warrior, so this sort of thing happens a lot. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that sort of thing does happen a lot. It's a common quirk among people who aren't confident in their memory.
Normally, since Erika was clearly making fun of her, Natsui might have looked annoyed. However, right now, Natsui was extremely relieved to hear Erika admit that that sort of thing happens a lot.
Why are you here by yourself, Erika-san?
I thought I'd investigate that guest room.
Guest room?
Yep. The situation's gotten pretty serious, hasn't it? Investigating the scene of the crime is my right.
Erika's probing gaze peered deep into Natsuhi's eyes. She could tell. Erika already suspected Natsuhi. Judging by the subtle nuance in her words, she must be planning to make...
Judging by the subtle nuance in her words, she must be planning to make me slip up and reveal that I know about the crime with Hideyoshi.
Swish.
When I supposedly haven't been told about it yet.
Natsui played dumb and asked what had happened again.
Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is a repeat of the first crime, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Again, you were in your room. And again, you can't prove your alibi, can you?
I don't know what you mean. To turn it around, how can you prove that I wasn't in my room?
Ah, that. Then let's take this one step at a time. Please worry about your luck later. I have something vitally important to discuss with everyone.
I'll come back after I check my log. Please get started without me.
Hideyoshi-san has been killed. We'll be talking about that.
What?
She had planned on using the need to check her lock as an excuse to escape her own room. After which she would claim to have a sudden headache and stay in bed the rest of the time. However, now that she had been informed of Hideyoshi's murder, it would be clearly suspicious to postpone that and escape to her room. was already under suspicion just because she'd been seen heading up to the stairs to the second floor. Couldn't afford to do anything else suspicious. Natsui gave up and headed for the parlor as Erika had urged her to do so. When she opened the door to the parlor, Ava's sobs poured out, and everyone glanced at Natsui with grave faces. Those gazes almost made it look as though they suspected Natsuhi. It was now painfully apparent to Natsuhi. This must have been what the man was after. It was a trap to create a baffling closed-room mystery and try to frame her for it. However, she couldn't have resisted. She couldn't sacrifice her husband's life.
And while it's true I hid in the closet, that's all I did. I definitely haven't committed murder. I might be extremely suspicious, but I'm not the culprit. And most importantly, I'm not under suspicion yet. I'll tell the police everything. I'll have to endure until then. I'm sure one of the servants is a traitor. Even in a situation like this, if I mention my husband being held hostage, the culprit will hear and might use it as an excuse to kill him.
Natsui-san has just come back. Now that we're all here, I have something very important to discuss with you all.
Something very important?
Yep, it's very important. I'd like to lay out everything in front of you all, starting with the first crime.
Then please do that with just the others. I think we should leave that sort of thing to the police. I'm not interested.
Since I have it all laid out, this is a very important thing to discuss. Neither you nor anyone else has the right to refuse.
What?
Erika used her detective's authority to proclaim the start of an assembly. None of the pieces could disobey. Praying that she wouldn't become the topic of conversation, Natsui reluctantly sat on the sofa as she'd been urged to.
Oh, sorry. Could you close that door for me?
Yes.
Yes.
Shannon and Cannon closed the door. As it had been decided a short while ago to lock all doors and windows carefully, Cannon locked it. That lock, which existed to protect the safety of this room, felt like a lock on a prison cell to Natsuhi, one that would hold her in place and prevent any escape. Natsui still hadn't noticed. Though Erika had gone into the corridor to check the crime scene in Hideyoshi's room, her goal had changed. In other words, from Erika's point of view, the sound of that lock was truly checkmate. Erika said that suddenly. Berncastle said that suddenly.
Oh, fast. Wow, so you figured out the culprit already? We've barely gotten any of the crimes right. You could have just let me kill a few more and gathered a few clues yourself.
Okay, Lambda, gather all the pieces. Now we're getting to the most interesting part. Let's both enjoy it to the fullest.
Well, let's see. Why don't you show me what you've got?
To think she'd lay down a challenge without waiting for game set at midnight. What a hasty person, that Lady Berncastel.
Joshua.
Another sound.
It is quite an early challenge. To think that she's already managed to obtain a winning hand at this stage.
Normally you can win by just claiming that a witch exists. Both Natsu and Kinzo, we've got a lot we need to protect this time. Sounds like this fight'll be a pain.
That's no problem at all. I won't let them do as they please with my golden island any longer. Bring it on, Lady Burn Castell! Furudo Erika!
In the Golden Land, the endless rain continued to fall. Battler was nowhere to be seen. It would very soon reach the time that Battler had joined in on the 5th game. And control of the pieces we passed on to Battler. In other words, he'd only be officially added to the game now in this final stage, where Burncastle had pinpointed the culprit. Oh, okay. Oh, no, wait, the chapter isn't over yet. Yeah, sorry, hold on a second. We're having a bit of a discussion in the Fight Club about whether or not we should stop. Okay.
It is very late.
We're getting there, don't worry.
This looks
Are
like a
we?
good spot to.
There's still quite a bit to this chapter.
There are 5 minutes left in this chapter, according to Zaz.
All right then.
Okay.
They left the arbor a short while ago. Now the only ones in sight were Virgilia, who continued to knit silently, and Beata, who just sat there blankly amidst the smell of her black tea, not even putting the cup to her lips. Virgilia stopped knitting for a moment, and looked out across the vast golden rose garden that extended as far as the eye could see.
I believe it's safe to say that at least in the game over, who the culprit is, Battler has gained such strength that he will never surrender again. By the 4th game you had sent him all your messages. In other words, at this time Battler-kun is capable of realizing the truth at any moment. However, he is still soft in some ways. So, even if the games continue like this 100 times, he won't solve it for all eternity. He'll just wander forever like someone trying to find the blue bird.
That is still Virgilia.
And that is you, Beatrice. It's the same for you. Even if this game continues hundreds more times, you will never reach the answer you seek for all eternity.
Is this Virgilia? Okay, no, he's still here. Okay.
Burncastle will abuse this game without a doubt. Lambda Delta will also churn this game about with the utmost arrogance. At a glance, that may be humiliating and appear to you and Battler as though the game has been stolen from you. However, that is something the two of you need right away. Right now, to end Battler's naive softness, to end your hesitation. And that's why you called the two of them here, to end the eternal torture between you. Those two will bring you either victory or defeat. But no matter how it goes, that result has already been filled with compassion. You should understand that as well by now.
Virgilia faced Beata, whom she had come to adore as a daughter, with cold eyes that she must not. It's like the gaze of a mother who, instead of scolding, silently urges their child to recognize their mistake.
Beatrice, how long do you intend to stay there, neither alive nor dead? Not rising up to heaven, nor falling into hell. There, on the peak of Mount Purgatory. I am Virgilia. I have guided him through Purgatory and brought him to you at its peak. And you are Beatrice. You must choose whether to take his hand and rise to heaven, or grab him and fall into hell. Did you know that the discord called Purgatory, which lies in the gap between heaven and hell, is sometimes more torturous than even hell itself? On the gates of hell it is written that you must abandon all hope. A human without hope can accept their suffering and give up. However, the residents of Purgatory have hope. A hope of possibly reaching heaven, a hope that cannot be abandoned. And it tortures them. Even in the depths of hell, no greater torture device exists than the single pin known as hope. Fly. Fly from the cliffs of Purgatory. Take with you the regrets caused by your fleeting, fragile, foolish hopes, and open up Pandora's box. Are you scared? Scared of opening the box?
Beata was silent, but with a single tear she nodded slightly.
Is the cat in the box alive or dead? The time has now come to check. If the cat is dead, quickly hold a funeral for it and have it rise to heaven. If the cat is alive, quickly feed it and give it all your affection. Whether it is alive or dead, your cat box eternally desecrates the cat. The key to the box that you were afraid to open has been brought to you by those two. Beatrice, it's time for you to die now. I hope that your heart is stopped by the hand of the person you desire.
Alright then.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Tired.
Good job, team.
Alright.
That's the most
Are we foregoing the discussion tonight?
I could give a blitz if you want.
I honestly think it would be best if we postponed it to next time.
I don't know if we're gonna do our thoughts next time, are we? We don't
hold
usually.
that thought, because really quickly, I want to. As you can see, clock's dinging.
Ding,
I wonder what that means.
Midnight.
Already?
12.
Also, I can't save yet, so just watch for a little bit longer.
The fuck?
Hey.
New place.
Welcome to the Grand Court of Illusions, everybody. We will be picking this up Sunday.
I guess we know the place and name before it told us.
Well, no, it's right there.
It says
It's literally the title of the chapter.
The Grand Court of Illinois.
I just called it like a church before because I just assumed that's what it was called. It
looks like one.
church. Yeah, we're going to church next time, everybody.
That would actually tie into one of the thoughts I had. I'll at least give this thoughts. I thought it was interesting that they're talking about that heaven, or they said something about heaven, and I noticed how we never found out what religion that church mentioned prior was dedicated to. I think because I don't think it was like specifically we knew if it was dedicated to religion, to Christianity.
I think I just straight up told Broboot that it doesn't matter.
I think it's some type of metaphorical religion of logic.
Well, there was also the fact that the symbols on those girls' outfits are like 2 keys in the form of a cross.
Unlocking the truth?
I don't know. There's also like one of them has like a badge that's like 2 key heads without the cross. The German one on her shoulder.
Well, hey, we will likely be reaching out to the truth next time. Anyways, so yeah, we will have our proper discussion. Actually, I don't know, we might actually have our proper discussion after the chapter is over, because I'm pretty sure this is a really, the episode, because this is a really, really long chapter. We may have to cut it in half.
Ooh boy.
Oh lordy, I'm gonna need more paper.
I think this is actually the longest chapter in the game.
How long? 4 hours?
It's really funny you say that, because I think that's the exact estimate that Noir, no, not Noir, that's the exact estimate that fucking Zaz gave me for it.
It is?
Yeah, 4-hour long chapter.
I can't believe Crimson had read into the future and predicted the length.
Alright, can we not...
to cut it in half.
Yeah, I would like to request that we don't do that on a weekday.
Well, I mean, we're gonna do it on Sunday and Saturday.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Wait, so we're doing Umineko tomorrow?
No.
Oh.
Sunday.
Sorry. Whoa. But I'm misspeaking. Forgive me. Gomena, sorry. I meant to say Sunday and Friday. That's my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Whew. No, we are not doing 3 back-to-back sessions. That'd be ridiculous.
Especially for 4 hours.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, we'll probably be cutting up the chapter into the 2-hour chunks, and then we'll do the what is it, the tea parties afterwards. But granted, they aren't really that long, so depending on when we do it, I don't know.
We're only back when we used to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, we had to stop. We had to stop doing that because Con needed to reduce the amount of stress that she was having.
So I'll be real. I really,
to be honest, I agree with that.
Remember back when we did Higurashi?
It's fine. I don't know why you're bringing that up.
No, just nostalgia.
What? Yeah, it's just nostalgia.
You're nostalgic for that.
I liked it.
Pretty good. I will say I didn't. There was a lot of Higurashi I enjoyed. However, there was parts of this.
Let's not talk about Higurashi in general. Just it messes with the flow of what we're talking about right now.
Especially since there's some people here who probably haven't finished it.
Good point.
But yes, anyways, Kino is arriving soon. We will resume later with the golden case.
Is this
Arrivederci, everyone.
Is this Kino also?
Oh wait, can I post? Hold on.
Actually, I just want to say once more really quickly. We just reached our first actual Twitch payout. Thank you everybody to the ones who supported us and so on and whatnot, which includes a good chunk of people in the Golden Theater.
Thank you. I can now maybe
episodes are
I
sponsored by the law.
contributed. I gave you a few dollary dues, and you turned that into real money.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm Miranda.
I guess I will give specific thanks to Ramen and I believe also McScoots, a friend of Joshua's, who did gigantic gift sub bombs, which basically put us over. Yeah,
McScoots.
We don't really do this for the money, but honestly, getting money is pretty poggers. Thank you very much. You're all wonderful people. Good night, everybody. Arrivederci.
Read Beaglesaurus.